Welcome to another pathetic podcast, your irregularly scheduled dose of Habs, cope, and criticism from two brothers who know nothing about nothing, but we definitely have some thoughts, especially tonight. Remember to like and subscribe as that really helps us out. Today is Sunday, March 15th, and let's have at it. I'm Mike.
And I'm Pat, and it is the Ides of March, and Shakespeare told us to beware, and the Habs really should have listened. So let's talk about the week that was. How about that?
Yes, absolutely. Looking back at the last four games, I question once again the trade deadline. Let's start with Toronto.
Game 1 versus Toronto. Okay, well, it was, I thought, a dominant performance by the Habs. Now, I'm a little biased because the Leafs they're the bane of my existence. I hate them and they suck, but they actually really suck now.
Yes, but the second period was still not good for the Habs.
They still had a bad second period. Joseph Wall played very well, kept them in the game that they had no business being in. But it was all in all,
they won.
Dominant performance. They won. That's what they're supposed to do.
Leafs didn't have very many shots.
No, it's thanks for doing your job, and they did their job great.
Okay.
So
Game 2 against Ottawa, a statement game against a team they hate, but I'm worried about what statement they made because they didn't play that well.
No, that was the game that they called up Jacob Fowler from Laval, and he won the game for them. And I think the disturbing statement you're thinking about is basically the last, 40 years of Habs hockey, where they stand around waiting for an elite goalie to bail them out, whether it was Patrick Waugh or Jose Theodore or Yaroslav Halak or Carey Price. And occasionally you don't have those guys. You have Cristobal Huet or David Abisher or Montembeau. So, now they have Fowler, who looks like the heir apparent to being the elite goalie, but they cannot just stand around waiting for him to win games by himself.
Which is what he did in Ottawa.
And basically, that's what he did. And he can do it, but it's not ideal for you as a team to want to do that. And they got away with it. They scored the timely goals and they got the W, which is what they needed to get.
Absolutely.
And it set them up nicely for the weekend with the two home games against the California teams that had beaten them. And it was their chance for some payback and to put a little distance between themselves and the teams chasing them.
Absolutely. Sorry, I was just looking at some stats there. All right, so now we're talking about the next game, which was the Ducks.
No, the next game was the Sharks.
Sharks. Ducks was tonight.
Yes.
So where am I here? I just remember the text because we were texting back and forth during the game.
Right.
And I believed you used your famous expression,
another pathetic failure. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. I mean, the Sharks have some nice young players and whatnot, but the reality of the Sharks is that they are a non-playoff team.
They're a bubble team at best.
At best, a bubble team. I mean, they're not Vancouver, but they should be beatable. And they beat us once. And I know that Celebrini had what did he have, 3 or 4 points that game?
3, I believe.
He racked them up again on Saturday, even though, and I'm not saying he's not a potentially generational player or anything like that, but the points he's gotten against the Habs this season, a week and a half ago and yesterday, were the easiest points he'll ever get because, he had the one goal in California that was went through the 5-hole. It was just a goal that Dobas would have liked to have back. And the 3 assists that he had were basically a byproduct of the Habs' pathetic defensive zone coverage.
Yeah, team
And
defense.
last night, Saturday night, the same thing again. He got now the goal he scored was nice. He put it just inside the post on the short side. Elite goal. I no problem with that. But again, they're freewheeling around in our zone, and we've got guys standing around watching. Guys like Carrier who are in the right spot positionally, but aren't doing anything to prevent what happens. And the result is a lot of deflections and tip-ins and easy rebounds because no one is making their life miserable.
Yeah,
They just
well,
have to stand
it
and
was
wait for
another
the
Carrier
biscuit.
struggled. Suzuki and Caulfield were kind of invisible. Slav looked pretty mid. Hudson was -3. You know, like this
Yes.
is this is what we were looking at. So, all right, we laid an egg
Yeah.
against that team.
And it
And
dovetails into tonight's game, which
yeah,
just ended
which brings us
about an hour
to
ago.
Anaheim. We didn't think
Yes.
we'd be doing this tonight because I had a power failure earlier, so it delayed the taping, which brought us to this. It's kind of messed up our script a little bit. So I won't even bother with what we were originally going to talk about. Which is where the Habs would have stood before tonight. I'm going to let you talk
Doesn't
about
matter
tonight
now.
because, it's worse than it wasn't great
No,
before this game, and now
it just got worse.
it just got worse.
Yeah. We can talk about the game itself, like I said, and this is not just tonight's game, but for the last few games, you know, Suzuki scored tonight, Caulfield scored tonight, Caulfield scored last night, and that's great when they're doing that. But the rest of the game and the last few games, that top line of Suzuki, Slafkovsky, and Caulfield have looked pretty mid and pretty out to line. And on the power play, they're they're terrible. Like they can't make passes. They flub. I don't know. It's just there's no they're out of sync, and I don't know what it is. But they're yes, occasionally they get the puck on stick, and because they're elite, they can zip it in there, and it covers up a lot of the rest of their play. They're not playing a 200-foot game.
Yeah, especially
Yeah.
that line. So
Yes.
Suzuki and Slav ended up even, but after those first two goals tonight, they were both -2, and deservedly so. They were not very. They looked
No.
pretty bad tonight. I mean, if we're gonna be realistic about it,
Mhm.
so
No, for sure. Um, but yes,
some fans would
You are
say,
fake news.
yes. Well, they can say that, but the stats don't lie, and the only stat that really matters is the scoreboard. So, uh, leaving aside these particulars of what happened in this game, we need to deal with the fallout from this game, the end result of
yes,
this game, which is we've played 2 games over the weekend at home. We have collected 0 points. As a matter of fact, in the 4 games we played against those 2 teams, we have 1 welfare point. 1
I know.
out
And
of
the
a possible
excuses coming out of it
8.
were, when we were in the West, oh, the game starts at a different time. It's a different
Yeah.
time zone. You hear a excuse, excuse, excuse. So what was
Yeah.
the excuse this time?
Well,
Because 7 o'clock game both times.
as Bergevin said, "But excuse, no excuses." And there can't be. At this point of the year, there cannot be excuses. You just have to do it. You know, as as Michel Therrien once said, "Do it."
Yes.
Grind the puck. Yeah. So a lot of things come in there. It's Carrier doing Carrier things. Hudson, despite scoring points, has a few glaring mistakes. He was -3 on Saturday.
Yeah.
Um,
-1 tonight.
yeah. Slavkovsky needing to be less nonchalant,
Yes,
i.e., more
more chalant.
chalants.
Yes,
We
at
need
the
more
end of the game,
chalants from him.
we were just talking about this before, but
Yeah,
that they had the goalie pulled,
yeah,
and he was trying to swing it from his offside, the puck to his right side, and
yeah.
it's like you can't do it like that when you
Mm.
have a goalie pulled and you
Well,
have the other team pressing. It's like, what are you doing?
like I get how some players they never succumb to pressure and they play the same in any situation. They're calm, cool, collected, but there are certain times when time is of the essence, and yeah, you have to play with more urgency. And yeah, when you got your goalie pulled, you can't make mistakes.
Yes,
And you gotta get it done. Like
and
tonight, they scored. Texier scored a beautiful goal, but it was like a second after the time had expired, and it didn't count, obviously. Um, but it was just they take too long to get the shot on goal, and if they even get one.
So,
Um,
by the way, we always get whenever we're in discussion boards, or even you're talking to Habs fans that are friends of ours, and they always say things like, "It's so easy to make criticisms from your couch," you know. And I am comfortable making
and
criticisms from exactly. I'm
what's your
comfortable
point?
making criticisms from my couch, not as
Yeah.
comfortable as JD Vance, but
Yeah, well,
um, but
we we're not disgusting,
we're not disgusting, but
Yeah.
there's nothing wrong with making these judgments. Is These are
No.
observations, and they're very obvious in this case, and I don't think it's
This is observations I'm making with, 50 odd years of watching games. I played a
and not just
little
the
as a
Habs,
kid,
and
but I
not just
mean,
the Habs.
not just, but, I've forgotten more about hockey than a lot of people know. And, this is the old Howard Cosell argument where they used to complain about him because he never played the game, but he was very opinionated. It's like, you can have an opinion. You don't have to be a player or a coach or a general manager to be able to evaluate and have an opinion on the play of the player or the coaching style of the coach. I mean,
Well,
there,
hey, you don't need to be a woman to be a gynecologist, so
there you go.
you
So
can
yeah, I
just
mean,
be an
I've
expert.
never subscribed to that. It's people have opinions. That's what they like about sports is sharing your opinions. That's why you people are watching us. There's you have opinions, we have opinions. Everybody's got an opinion. There's a
And
half
many
a
of them will
hundred
turn out to
podcasts of opinion.
many of them will
So
turn out to be wrong, but that's okay. I mean, I see many people who were hockey players, and most of the time their opinions are I don't find them that informative. Like, who does the color? Is it Craig Simpson? The
for
what
the
the guy
Leafs, yeah.
the
Oh, like
no,
Gary
no,
Galley.
Gary Galley.
Yeah,
It's like, good on
and good
him.
on him. Yeah,
I just come on,
yeah,
like, he
yeah.
has nothing. But anyhow,
No.
I digress. We gotta move
Well,
on
perfect example is Pierre Maguire, who's very respected and for good reason. But
by some people.
I remember the 2005 draft. They were doing a panel discussion. He was on the panel, and they're saying, "So, what do you do? Do you draft just the best player available, or do you draft for positional need?" And Pierre said, "No, you have to take the best player available because
Yes, I remember
none
that.
of these guys, except for Sidney Crosby, who was being drafted that year, said anybody other than Crosby is probably not going to play right away. So you don't know what your organizational needs, positional needs are
In
going to
3 to
be
5
three,
years.
4, or 5 years down the road. So fine. At this time, the Canadiens had Theodore, and Bob Gainey goes up to the podium and he selects Carey Price. And the first thing out of Pierre's mouth is, "What are they drafting a goalie for? They need a defenseman." And it's like, Pierre, you just finished saying best player
Oh,
available.
I didn't know he did that.
He did that.
Yeah.
He
But,
did that.
they have to make, content as well in a way. They have
Exactly.
to make
Exactly.
controversy.
So, just because, and he's got an informed opinion. Okay. He's an expert. He's an insider, but they don't always get it right either. So my
True.
opinion's as good as your opinion or his opinion. I mean, I defer to the experts on certain things, but not on everything. And,
Oh, I'm going
we can agree to
blurry
disagree.
here.
So yeah, that's about the you know the whole thing. To tie this up with a bow about the week that was, is that now going into the game on Tuesday against Boston,
Right.
Boston is trailing us by 2 points. We have used up our games in hand and gotten nowhere. We are 2 points behind Detroit.
So now it is a
with
must
one
win.
game in hand, and those are our next 2 opponents.
So apparently it wasn't just me that had a power failure today.
Yeah, well,
so okay,
something short-circuited.
I got to move us along. Topic number 2, and this is going to be shorter than we had planned, but the Montembeau situation.
Yes, so
and you're going to explain a few little trades that happened or movement that happened on Friday.
Yes. So the Habs, they traded Riley Kidney.
That's correct. Yes.
Who had been playing in Three Rivers on the ECHL squad most of this
That's
season.
right. Yep.
He's a draft pick that didn't pan out, so they traded him to Ottawa, or the Ottawa organization.
Yes.
And they got
Jake Chiasson.
But they also got a goalie by the name of Hunter Shepard and sent him straight to Laval.
Yes.
Now, what on the surface, it's not an earth-shattering deal, but the fact that they are acquiring a goalie to back up Capo Kakinen in Laval tells us that Jacob Fowler is not going anywhere. He is here to stay. And if he's here to stay, that means Montembeau is bye-bye. It's good night, Monty. There will be no encore.
He
has played, barring a catastrophic injury to either Dobish or Fowler, or a performance that reeks so incredibly bad that they have no other choice. You will never see Mr. Montembeau wearing number 35 for the Montreal Canadiens ever again.
So now it'll be the story of the two Jakes.
Exactly. It's the two Jakes now. So for better or worse, and going into the playoffs, and we can talk about the fact that there are teams creeping up our backside. But the fact of the matter is the Habs still have a better than 92% chance of making the playoffs in some capacity. So let's assume that we're going to make it. Game 1 of the playoffs is going to be one of Dobish or Fowler. Montembeau is not going to be in the picture unless like I said,
they want to
someone
lose.
Gets hurt. Yeah.
So, unless there's an injury, yes.
His future as a Hab is all behind him. Now, I'm sure they'll be able to move him. He's got a digestible contract. There's only one more year on it. And
there's lots of teams that need
he
a
can
goalie.
Be an NHL backup or whatever. Like he's not the worst goalie in the NHL. He's among the worst, but this year. But I mean, he did do pretty well last year. Like there's some raw material there that, someone would
take
a flyer on.
He's sellable.
But he's not going to be playing here. He can't handle it. And you knew like back early in the year when he said he had turned off his social media when he was struggling to avoid having to look at the bad. So it's like, this is a guy who cannot handle this market.
Yeah.
He's fine somewhere else, maybe in the States, but not here. So,
okay. So
the future is now for Jacob Fowler.
We've dumped all over Monty long enough. We're getting to our weekly segment of the pathetic failure of the week. We discussed what it was going to be. Is there a change since tonight's game?
Well, I mean,
let's talk about what we had.
Yeah.
So, so it's the referees.
Yeah.
That's what we originally chose.
Yes. And the reason for that was the Saturday night, Lane Hudson scored what I consider a righteous goal.
Absolutely.
And the only reason it didn't count was because the referee blew the whistle, even though the replay showed the puck was loose.
Yeah,
it was sitting right there.
They'll argue that they lost sight, but I saw where the ref was, and I'm like,
there's 4 people wearing striped shirts on the
Exactly.
ice, and none of them could see that it was sitting right
Yeah,
there waiting to be,
that's what I don't buy.
and if that's the case, then you're not doing your job.
So, can you see that?
Yes, pathetic.
Pathetic.
Pathetic, pathetic. So, yeah, the refs, they blew it, and you know, I mean, we lost 4-2. There was an empty netter, right? Was there not in
Yes.
Saturday?
Yeah.
So that's the difference between winning and losing, or between at least a welfare
Well,
point
actually, I
or
remember
something.
saying, we were losing 3-2,
Yeah,
and I texted you, I said, "So now they're gonna pull the goalie, and it'll end 4-2 because they will
yeah,
invariably."
and of course it did.
Of course it did, and they will
And
invariably let in
it's
they
like
don't
the
have.
iron law. If we pull the goalie, they score or not. We have the face off. We don't get possession. We never touch it. It ends up in our net. If they pull the goalie, we never touch the puck, never get possession, and they tie it. Well, maybe not so much now that Monty's gone, but
Oh, yeah.
too often I've seen the 6-on-5 against, and they just can't clear the puck, and that's my biggest thing with Carrier.
But
He's
actually,
got he's got the puck on his stick, an easy out, and he can't get it out.
remember last week we talked about the power play and the penalty kill,
Yeah,
and it's the same thing, which I guess it's the same because it's,
yep,
pull the goalie, man advantage on the power play. They on the penalty kill, they cannot. That the reason there's a reason their penalty kill is 27th in the league
yes,
because they often they play it the whole time in their zone for the
yeah,
whole 2 minutes,
yeah.
and
They're
their players
chasing,
are
chasing,
completely
chasing. Yeah,
gassed.
yeah,
And it's like, so that's why you can't if you can't clear the puck, the other team is going to more often than not score.
yeah. Which
That's
which leads me to wonder why they trust Marty St. Louis trusts Carrier so much to be on the penalty kill, because he is terrible at clearing the puck. Like, I don't know what it is about that guy, but he can never get
well,
it out when he needs to get it out.
it happened tonight, in a
Yeah,
much more minor situation. They weren't killing a penalty, but the Ducks had been pressing. And once again, he could have made an easy play. Don
yeah,
Cherry would have been yelling, "Chip it off the boards." And that's what he should have done. And instead, he was dicking around with it, trying to decide what to do. And you don't have the time to
no,
decide. And he lost the puck. And it
yeah,
could have been worse. It could have ended in a
yeah.
goal. It
Well,
didn't, but it was just another time where he,
same thing with Hudson when the goalie was pulled and he fumbled around at the blue line, and it ended
oh,
up going out of the zone, and they killed their chance to have a shot on goal
and
to try and
again,
tie
like
it.
I love Hudson. There's no
Yeah, but I'm
doubt in
saying
my
it
mind,
happens
but
to guys as talented as Hudson. Carrier is not that talented, so
he
he needs to
Hudson more often
keep
than
it
not
simple.
recovers.
Yeah,
But I go back to that thing with Slafkovsky. Hudson's the same. When you have your goalie pulled,
yeah.
maybe not dick around
Simplify,
at the
simplify.
simplify at
Yeah,
the blue line. Like when you got to do higher percentage plays,
yeah,
like as simplify short passes.
yeah.
You can't be doing the dance on the blue line when you have no goalie
Right,
in the net. It just
precise.
doesn't. It
It's
you're gonna
common
fail.
sense. Common
Yeah,
sense. Yeah,
and I mean he's young, so I mean this is the thing.
yeah.
So
Carrier's not young though.
Carrie's not
You
young.
know?
No, I'm talking about Hudson.
Yeah, no. But I'm
Yeah.
Carrier has reached whatever ceiling he's going to reach, and this is what he is. He needs to accept it and play within himself. All I'll say about that.
So anyhow, that was the refs were the pathetic failure.
Yes.
However, I would say that the Habs in the last 4 games, a bit of a pathetic failure.
Yeah, but it's too
I
easy
mean,
to just
it's too easy.
give
It's
it to
too
the
general.
team.
We usually
Gotta
want
gotta
more
nitpick.
specific.
Gotta nitpick. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
So, now we're actually going back to a topic 3 here, which is road tripping with les boys.
Yes.
And you can explain our annual pilgrimage.
Yes.
This one's extended this time, so
Yes. Michael and I and a couple of our friends, one of whom we've known since our college days, and one who's been my best friend since the third grade. Um, We have for the last couple of years. This will be our third or fourth year. I think our third year.
No, fourth.
Is it
It's the
4? You
fourth.
sure?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Well, this is our fourth annual boys road trip to Montreal. How it works is in Edmonton, I fly to Toronto, I meet up with them, we get ourselves to Montreal, and we take in a Laval game from the balcony section with the free booze and the free food. And then that's on the Friday night. And then on Saturday night, we go to a Habs game, and there's drinking before and after. And this is what we do on a yearly basis. We pick the weekend that works, where there's a Laval game and on a Friday and a Habs game on a Saturday, which there's not as many as you might think. I don't know
No.
why the Habs haven't
This
clued
was the
into
only one
this
that worked.
marketing
Yeah.
possibility here. They need to have more of these, but whatever. We found it. So yeah,
By the way,
I still have some packing to do. But my flight's 7 a.m. Mountain time tomorrow, so wheels up at 7. My alarm is set for 4 a.m. I gotta get ready, and the Uber's picking me up at 5. And so we will be there. Mike and I will be there for the St. Patrick's Day game, which will be
It's a
Brendan
must-win.
Gallagher's 900th career game.
yes. And it's a must-win,
And
really.
if Caulfield scores, he will be our first 40-goal scorer since Vinny Damphousse back in 1993-94. But mostly we need to win that damn game, because the Bruins will be tied with us if they beat us. So
I know.
we must.
And by the way, if
win
we're
that game.
tied, they're ahead because we have more welfare points. They have more legit points. I'm pretty sure.
I'd have to check, but yeah.
Let me check. But I'm pretty sure when I looked the last time, I was like,
we're probably behind most teams in the legitimate win. I mean,
we have 10 welfare points. They have 6.
Yeah. And that's the same thing with Tampa. They have 4 more wins than we do, even though we're only like 2 points behind them.
Yeah, actually, you know what? Boston already has one more win than us. They have 37 wins. We have 36. So if they'll have 38 wins if they beat us on Tuesday.
Yeah. And then Thursday we're playing
so it won't
Detroit.
be tied.
Yeah. Thursday we're playing Detroit in Detroit.
And
they're only 2 points back, but we do have a game in hand.
Yes.
Now.
We do, but they only have 8 welfare points. We have 10. So
exactly.
All these things matter now, which they didn't need to matter. The whole season, Montreal spent comfortably in a playoff spot. Most of the time, we bounced in and out of, since Christmas, we've bounced in and out of wild card, but mostly not in the wild card spot. Now,
it's tight collar time. And after those 2 games, we play the Islanders on Saturday. We'll be at that game. I will be at the following week on the Tuesday. They're playing the Hurricanes. I'll be at that game. And then on Thursday, they're playing Columbus, which is now only 3 points behind with a game in hand. And we have to play them twice more between now and the end of the season.
So we play them 3 times?
No, twice.
No, just 2, twice.
Yeah, twice.
Including the one you're going to. Or
no, I'm not going to the Columbus one.
Sorry, you're going to the Columbus.
Yeah, they're playing Columbus next week, like a week after this coming one. And then in April, they're playing them. That's 4 points up for grabs against Columbus. And we've got Boston this week and Detroit this week on the road.
That's a lot.
And then Patrick
from
Roy
Montreal
and Schaefer, they come into town on Saturday night with the Islanders, and that'll be what that is. So
didn't we lose to them last time? I think we did. Yes.
Yeah, probably.
Yes, we did. Yeah. With like 30 seconds left.
Oh,
they went ahead.
Yeah,
36
almost
seconds
like
or something like that.
Yeah.
So we go to Montreal. We arrive on Tuesday. We are going to try. We purchased those silly mics.
Some tech.
Some tech. We are going to try and do some recording from Montreal. I cannot say how this is going to work. We're going to play it by ear, but hopefully we'll have some content.
Yes.
For that. We need to wrap this up because we're at the 30-minute mark.
Oh no, we're going to turn into pumpkins.
We are going to turn into
yeah.
pumpkins. So that's it for us this week, Pat. Any final thoughts before we're out of here?
Well, I'll tell you, Emily Dickinson, the poet, once said that hope is the thing with feathers. And the Habs had a lot of hope going into this week. And funny thing was that, that's a very famous quote from Emily Dickinson about hope being the thing with feathers. Woody Allen wrote a book which he called Without Feathers, as in to say hopeless. And that's kind of how I'm feeling about the Habs. It's like it's a without feathers kind of week because they got the 2 wins that they should have gotten, and then 2 more wins they should have gotten something out of, and they got nothing.
Well, they got
and
no, they didn't get a
fading.
welfare point. That's true. Yeah,
they didn't even get a welfare. They in the 4 games they played, 1 welfare point. That's out of 8 possible points they had 1 in those 4 games against the California teams. So not good. So
all right,
it's going to be an interesting week. We're looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to getting after it in Montreal and meeting the boys. And we will be seeing you hopefully.
Well, remember to let me, Patrick. You gotta shut up sometimes. I know it's hard for you, but you gotta shut up and let me do my job here. I'm Adam Susser. Remember,
do your job.
Do it live.
Yes. Like and subscribe.
So remember to like and subscribe. It actually does help us somehow. We'll be back next week, of course, and maybe midweek, hopefully from somewhere in Montreal. Until then,
we're gonna have some explaining to do.
Until then, may your coming week have less pathetic failures than our Habs.
Yes.